all this sitting around makes you sleepy. Right now, my wife's having a heart catheter, and they're going in there to see if that's what's causing her problem. Because she started having, this ain't medical advice, you know, but just kind of what's going on. She started having like breathing issues, and then she was sweating. She was real tired, and she didn't know it come on all of a sudden because she was going to watch the grandbaby and couldn't. And the doctor called her and said, hey, you need to go to the hospital. But we was kind of scared to go to a local hospital because the doctor that used to treat her told her, hey, you got to go to Charleston. You're beyond our capability. So we thought, well, why in the world are we going to the old-fashioned doctor that can't help her? And so now he's going to do a heart cath. Last heart cath he did on her, she about lost her leg. So this is really scary. So, you know, keep her in your prayers. And it didn't happen. Her vein collapsed. And then they had to cut her two places in her leg and rebuild her vein and all. And she didn't lose leg, but now she has to have a special device put on her foot to make sure the pulse is still going because they can't tell. So she's been through a lot. If I went through all that, I don't know if I could do it. She's a trooper. But hopefully I had to go to Charleston, but they said this would tell if she is worse condition than they think she is, then they'd send her to Charleston. So it's like getting a referral, I guess. Instead of us driving 200 miles to Charleston and being in the same situation down there. But they can't twilight her. I mean, they had to twilight her. They can't put her under, or that's it, you know. So, wish us the best. Keep us in your prayers, you know, so we get through all this. But she come in yesterday, and we're here today. It's October the 14th. You know, goes along my little blog. I want to keep up with what's going on in my life, and my wife's a big part of my life. So, you know, it's one of the things. Appreciate you guys watching, give support. I felt good. A guy texted me, said, hey, man, where you at? What's going on? So I kind of let him know, you know, hey, my wife's got all kind of stuff going on. They do have a benefit, family leave, and I think you can do it intermittent, so I might need to see if I can get that set up. So if I had to be off, it'll cover those days you missed and protect you. But, you know, there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of stuff you got to go through. My wife's mother has really been, you know, she's really been a saint and helped us out. Every time my wife's been going to Charleston for about a year, she'd take her time, take my wife down to Charleston, spend the night, you know, and she's really been a blessing, you know, 'cause I couldn't take off from my job. So she's really been, you know, thank you so much, Miss Kathy, for helping us out. And, you know, they kind of got some bonding time, mother and daughter, and I don't have any idea what's going on, just barely minimum. They don't really tell me anything when it happens, but she does that thing called My Chart, which I can go back and once I get access and I can read it. But yeah, just stuff like this. You know, when you're young, you can do what you want, sleep, get up, do what you want, sleep, and every day is just cool and no consequences. When you get older, then your body starts having more requirements, and you got to be sharp, because if you forget those requirements, this ain't medical advice, just part of getting old. It's like, now I got to do this, now I got to do this, and now I got to do this. And it's like work just to keep up with yourself. So, you know, try to be healthy as you can so you have less work to keep up with yourself as you get older, because you can't escape yourself. But, you know, we're very blessed to be here so far. And we got married in '97. So we've been married 25 years, and we're coming up on 26 years of marriage. And, you know, it ain't been all roses, but it ain't been all bad either. You know, it's marriage. And I have two beautiful children and 2 grandbabies. So, you know, I've been very blessed in that, and just try to figure out, spend more time with them. So it's kind of surreal when I get all 4 of them together. And, you know, now my new, I have a handsome son-in-law, and he's taking care of my little daughter and 2 grandbabies. So, I mean, you know, it's real cool that family's getting bigger, you know, and that's kind of what it's all about. You just have to kind of accept people and not get upset about little things, and just appreciate the little things, you know. Like, I appreciate the family, and I appreciate Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You know, one day, hopefully they'll make me a sponsor, because I love Dunkin' Donuts original blend, hot. And, you know, I could get 2 extra large for less than $6, I think. And then once I was confused on the app. They updated the app, but I see it starting to give me more credit as I've used it twice now. And I make it at home too, so I'm saving a lot of money. Probably not a lot, because my creamer is about $4, and this much of my cup, I can get it in here without dropping it. That much of my cup is creamer. So it, you know, it don't take but about 4 or 5 cups of coffee to use a whole $4 thing of creamer. Now the bag of coffee is like $10, and then I don't trust my water, because we have well water. I hadn't had it tested, but, you know, I take a shower, it don't taste bad. I'm just a little leery, and I hadn't went and got it tested yet. I probably should, but I could probably put a filter on it. I had a cool filter you don't really see. I don't know if anybody else has this, but I bought a like a little faucet, and I mounted it to the cabinet, and then I got I had an inline water filter for a refrigerator, and I had hooked up the refrigerator with an ice maker, and I had another pipe coming off that to the water faucet, and I had the filter on the outside. So, you know, once a month, 2 months, I could change that water filter, and the water was really filtered. You know, it might have took out the good stuff, the fluoride you're supposed to have in there, but it didn't taste. Our water kind of tasted funny, because it wasn't a river. It was like big old wells that they had, I guess, and it had kind of a whatever chemical they put in it to make the water purified, I'm assuming, because, you know, I had an old house, so it could have been from my pipes or whatever, but it tasted that way several other places. So and they inherited all the pipes around where we used to live, so they had no idea till they got to digging. There was no documents or blueprints, and had to make new pipes or blueprints when they come and did stuff. So they had to put a cutoff in our yard, because they didn't know where the water was coming from. And once they put it in there, then they had it marked, and they put cement so I wouldn't fall in the hole with my car. But I was like, you know, this is crazy. They have all this water pipes under the ground. Nobody knows where it's coming from. Nobody knows where it is. But then they have, you know, it was a lot of work. They had to keep going back on that, because a different water company bought them out. But, yeah, drinking coffee made me remember all that, you know. And then it made me remember, it's kind of sad, but my grandma had dementia. My dad did too. But I remember going to see my grandma, and before she got real bad, she wanted me to go see some guy she had a crush on, and she was in her 80s then, and I just started driving. So it was kind of weird. I almost did it, and they told me don't do it, because, you know, when you're young, you think adults know what they're talking about. You don't realize they could have a problem, or at least I didn't. It took a while. Now, okay, I understand what's going on now. But then me and my cousin went for a day trip, and we went by the nursing home where she's at, and she always played the piano, wanted us to sing, and I changed a little bit, you know, put on a lot of weight, and I think I might have had little bit of hair. I don't think I had any facial hair, but, you know, I looked a little different. But she lost one of her eyes to cancer probably 10 years earlier. And she'd always wear this fake eyeball. But her mind started going, and she could do certain things. But she's a real little woman, you know. And she's playing the piano, and I come up beside her, and I barely touched her or something. And she said, "Get away from me," and just panicked like she had no idea who it was. It hurt my feelings so much. I didn't see her again till the funeral. I just couldn't bear it. So that's another reason why I want to share these videos of what's going on and how my mind might not be working or might be working. So when I get off my rocker or lose my mental capacity, hey, you can always watch these videos and say, you know, that was my grandpa, or that was my dad, or that was Mr. Oh Wow, you know, before, because, you know, a lot of times the last thing happens to you with famous people, they see something happen to you, and then that's what they remember, you know, like all the stuff. I really like Bruce Willis, but all the stuff he did, and now the last section where he's got that disease and it's starting to attack him, and his speech and his cognitive mental reasoning, you know, he's still Bruce Willis, but you remember people see that in the news, and people will forget all about everything he's done unless they dig into it, you know, because you always see the last, or you'll see the last, and then you'll see something that happened years ago, and these people ain't around no more, and it's like, hey, that's cool, they're leaving a legacy. But, you know, kind of want to share, we're in the hospital, and I found out yesterday my wife is on 28 medicines. That's a lot. And she's on this new medicine, nitro, you know, it's supposed to help your heart when it's having pains and all, and she don't like taking it. You can take, this ain't medical advice, but you can take it, but she's afraid she'll get immune to it and won't do any good. So a lot of times she don't take it when she needs it. But that's not why she's in here. We're just, you know, we're at the hospital, we're in the right place. We got our hearts in the right place, and we've asked the right people and the right, you know, the Lord for help. So I know he'll get us through it, you know, because I need my little wife. She's my little backbone. But yeah, up here chilling out in the hospital today, and, you know, I'd rather everything be good. I'd rather be working, but I'm glad I'm here being able to support her and try to find out what's going on and not be at work distracted and get hurt or tear up something because not paying attention to what I'm doing. So it's good to be where you need to be and hopefully get to see grandbaby tonight. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I was thinking about doing it, won't let me do it, or I can't figure out how to do it, but I seen a thing how to make money on Fiverr. And, you know, all kind of people talked about it. While I was out of work, I watched all this stuff, and it sounded real good, but, you know, most of these people selling stuff, if they were really making all this money, they wouldn't be charging you a course to buy all this stuff. They're making money by selling the course. You know, but it sounds so good because she's so desperate for money. But this one guy is kind of funny, but he said Fiverr had these, the one gig that I remember, it said to listen to people. Now, I don't know if I'd be able to listen or if I would talk them to death. But I was going to try to set it up, you know, like Mr. Oh Wow, my user ID on Fiverr. And then I was going to listen to people. And I've seen people put listen and life coach. You know, I'll listen and talk about it with you if you want or something. And it says I had to do it on a desktop, so I hadn't figured out how to maneuver around the site and do all this stuff yet, or if it'd even be worth it, because some of these people have been doing it 7-8 months and they've only got like five gigs answered. and it was like $10 for a whole hour, you know, or $20 for an hour, $20 for 30 minutes. And didn't see too many Americans paying for that service. And, you know, most of it was ladies. So the guys were paying these ladies to talk to them as a life coach, and they probably figured, you know, they wanted more than talking, I guess. So they gave good reviews, but I don't know if anybody wanted me to listen to what they said or hear what I got to say, but you never know. But I figured it'd be cool to talk about. You know, unless somebody told you something crazy you didn't want to hear, you're like, you'd be in shock the whole 30 minutes. You say, well, I got to raise my rates up to $1,000 for shock talking. Or you'd have to go get therapy after listening to some crazy stuff, you know. Somebody confess something and you're like, you know. So hopefully it won't run into any of that. And, you know, do the grind, thinking what we can do. There was a lady at work, and she said she might give me some pictures. So I'll post it if I can. But she's raising reptiles, you know, like snakes and geckos, which is so cool. And there's a lot of work to it. You got to clean cages, and you know what the type of snake is, and you know who to sell them to, and it's a business. And I was thinking, man, that's so cool, like a side hustle. And you know, I work a little part-time job, but it's every weekend, so I had to be there whether I'm doing something or not. Except for, I think we get Christmas and maybe New Year's off. And you know, I don't know if I'll be there tomorrow or not with what's going on today, but we'll see what we find out. By the end of the day, it's already 1:30. You know, I know it's kind of a long video, but some people like watching the regular long video, and a lot of people like watching little shorts. So I had to think, you know, what would be funny? Make a little short and just doing my life, you know, doing the shorts. It's kind of cool. They get pushed really a lot. But yeah, man, just I don't understand some of the stuff is on YouTube about talking about relations and relationships and all this young crazy stuff. But my wife's phone's up here on charge, so I'll go see who's calling her. You know, party in the hospital. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and you know, you can always listen to me talk if you need to listen to something. And if you got anything depressing, just, it's easy. This ain't advice. This is just something to think about, you know. But it's easy to be depressed when you're not doing something. But when you're doing something, your mind's concentrating on what you're doing. So it's hard to be depressed when you're doing something. It don't matter what it is, like going for a walk, getting the blood flowing, having all the scenery, you know. But if you're just sitting, if you're sitting home or sitting in one little spot and you overthink your situation or particularly what you're going through, it's easy to get depressed. But if you go, you know, do something make you feel better, like you always hear about guys working out or accomplishing something, or, you know, fixing something, working on your car, or whatever you want to do, making a shelf, or, you know, I guess for women would be cleaning the house or cooking a nice meal, or maybe they want to work on a car or fix something. You never know. But whatever you want to do. And then you don't have to spend a lot of money on buying stuff that you could have had money for something else. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, and thank you for subscribing. And I had plenty of time while she's gone to do her little procedure, so I could just sit here and thinking, and didn't really want to watch TV and make a YouTube video. So it's funny, I was sitting at home sitting around watching YouTube, kind of getting ready to come up here, and I've been up here a little while, and then feels like as soon as I got here, she's got to go back for the thing. So we have no idea if they're gonna let her go home today or not. Hopefully, but you never know. Whatever's in the best interest. But thank y'all again. Appreciate you guys. You know, just keep the grind and whatever you want. You can always do anything. Like whatever you think about doing, you can always do something about making, you know, money or whatever. Just having a good time. And we'll talk at you later. Keep up the grind.